Ja, velkommen tilbake til Molde campus og Panoramas sending fra de populærvitenskapelige vinterlekene, som arrangeres her for første gang. Tidligere så har Svein Harald Bjørnstad snakket om digitalisering på frokostmøtet som ble arrangert i samarbeid med Molde Næringsforum. Nå er det bitcoin og kryptovaluta det skal handle om. Og vi får høre Ismail, Hakki, Polat, som driver med endring til digitalisering i Tyrkia. Og pluss Altug Ozturk, som er student her på Høgskolen i Molde, og som har investert en del i bitcoin, og er veldig interessert i dette her. Så de skal da blant annet snakke om krypted, som er en informasjonsbørs for kryptovaluta. Og de skal starte nå ganske snart, klokka 11. Så begynner foredraget her, og det vil da gå over en halvannen times tid. Når den sendingen er avsluttet, så vil det bli en halvtimes pause før det nye temaet dukker opp, nemlig digital pedagogikk. Så det vil da komme en egen sending fra klokka 1.
Ismail for the talk that is going to be given by Altug and Ismail about blockchain technologies and their own contribution in the form of crypto. Take at maximum 1.5 hours, and I think Altug and Ismail themselves will decide if we need a break. It's possible, I guess, to see if people have fallen asleep and then we get a break. It's an easy sign there. We're going to continue after lunch with digitization of the educational platform that we have here at the University College, digitization of research and our communication with the world outside the university. And everybody are, of course, welcome to attend. We start at 1 o'clock again, I think, after lunch. And the lecturer is the distinguished Magnus Noor from the University College in Østfold. I'm happy to see that it's already arrived. Welcome, Magnus. Then I leave the floor to Altug and Ismail for their presentation. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Hello once again. As I gave the initial teaser in the very morning session, it's a bit challenging to define Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency as a tech cloud again. And the main thing to understand the digital transformation here is to understand the values and to understand the interrelations between them. Because sometimes blockchain is mixed or confused with cryptocurrency, tokenization and coin. That kind of jargons are a bit not easy to understand. So in this part, I'll try to figure them out and their classification in order to have a perspective on this with the full picture. Let's start with the Bitcoin. I mean, it's there are more than 200 obituaries in or about Bitcoin that it has been dying or it's dead starting from 2011. But unfortunately, it's still living. So, oops, it's the current figure right now, starting from 2009. Bitcoin has, is it okay? Bitcoin has a rise here and there in 2013, and then suddenly dropped as a burst bubble. It's the first bubble burst of Bitcoin, but then it's survived and revived and I mean started a huge rise, as you see, and right now it's around 10,000. So the volume, the market cap is rose till 300 billion US dollars in the last December, and now it's almost half, or it lost 40% of it. So you can easily understand that its daily, weekly and momentarily volatility is very high. So that especially for the investors, I can recommend that just switch off your screens and I mean go. And in the long term, you will definitely win for that. So, as you see, it's in volume, daily volume, it's around 8 billion US dollars. And the circulating supply is limited and formulated to such a logarithmic formula starting from 2009. when it first launched in the market, not in the market, but between two people and four people, let's say, they were kidding that one Bitcoin should be equal to 1,300 US dollars, but in 4 years it was reversed. So in 2013 it was reversed. The Bitcoin circulation over time is halved in each 4 years. So what they have done is actually to define a protocol that transfer the money, let's say the currency between themselves, and they discovered, or they named it as Bitcoin, just for the, let's say, entertainment between cypherpunk group consisting of Hal Finney, Nick Szabo, Gavin Anderson, and the other friends. And you should have heard the name Satoshi Nakamoto, most probably, the mysterious founder of Bitcoin. In my opinion, this is a nickname given to this cypherpunk group. So it's sometimes Nick Szabo, it's sometimes Gavin Anderson, it's sometimes Hal Finney, so that they defined some financial rules, they wrote them as a protocol, and then they transformed or converted it into a code, into an algorithm that enabled them to exchange a money-like thing between themselves. In the beginning, it's just for the fun. Then it's spread over the community. And in the beginning, the deep web started to use it, and then started to boom a real commercial thing. So that it represents the circulation by years, or in each 4 years, of the Bitcoin over time. In the first 4 years, in each 10 minutes, it was produced in the algorithm, in the code, as 50 Bitcoins. In between 2013 and 17, it was halved as 25 Bitcoin in each 10 months, and now it's 12.5 Bitcoin, and it will be halved, and in the 2140, I think, it will be totally produced and full circulating supply. So I told a bit about the history. It started in January 3rd, the first Bitcoin transfer between Satoshi's server to Hal Finney's server, and then in the beginning they produced, or in Bitcoin jargon it was mining. They mined the first Bitcoin, 1 million Bitcoin. It's called as Genesis block, and then they started to exchange it between themselves. And starting from 2010 and 11, the black market discovered them and started to use it in their exchanges of, let's say, drugs, cocaines, even the killers, to hire killers. Yes, unfortunately. The name of the black market, or online black market, is called as Silk Road. It was founded in United States and mainly deal with the drug exchanges. But since the market had grown, they need to convert this, let's say, funny money into a real money. Okay, then come the exchange offices, not based in United States, but in Japan and in some countries that they can bypass this exchange. Okay, and between 2011 and 13, this market has grown, and the rate of Bitcoin, as you see, rose up to 1,300 US dollars. And then FBI arrested found and arrested the founder of this Silk Road and closed down, collapsed the black market. And then, as you see, the Bitcoin unit price has dramatically dropped in 200, from 1000s into 200. But I mean, in 3 or 4 years' time, Bitcoin was a very stable rate. In that time, United States and United States banking system started to transform offshore banking system into onshore banking system. Then the money, let's say onshore transformers, offshore transformers, has all moved in that Bitcoin world, and that's why the rate is stabilized in 400 US dollars. But starting from 2016, the investors, the small investors and the big investors invented Bitcoin and started to invest on that, and thanks to, let's say, media help and social media help, you saw the history. Comparing with the market volumes, the financial market, right now Bitcoin is there, surpassed Larry Page's and Bill Gates' fortunes, and all cryptocurrency market is nearly $500 billion US dollars, closing to Amazon and Apple's market rates, market caps, and it was 1/3 of US dollars in the circulation. So it's an enormous thing. Just in 1 year, it was risen from 70 billion to up to 800 billion. So it was very enormous. And that's why the finance industry should have a very close look to there, and where are the disrupting points in there to be for the finance industry to be disrupted. You see the gold market cap, physical money, and all the money. So Bitcoin has not only the Bitcoin and also all currencies, cryptocurrencies, has a growing portion in that total market. So there are more than, it was yesterday's screenshot. As you see, it exceeded, the number of cryptocurrencies exceeded 1,500, with more than 8,000 markets, and the cap and 24 hours volume, and the top 10 of this market, not only Bitcoin but also Ethereum, Ripple, and the other thematic coins. Let's come to the definitions. The Bitcoin in the beginning is, as I said, a digital protocol that enabled a safer, a relatively faster, and a cheaper financial transaction on internet, only on internet, without the involvement of a third party. Even Satoshi Nakamoto. I mean, this is the magic of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies, or some of the cryptocurrencies. Even the creator once developed the code, and once it's distributed to Altug's or Sting's or your server, it's nothing, for me, it's nothing to do that. It's nothing to, let's say, interrupt your transfer, nothing to do that. It's just a protocol. So, in that sense, it's not centralized, it's decentralized. So, I mean, with one phrase, we can define Bitcoin as a digital finance protocol. Bear in mind that. So, how it works? I mean, this is the second question. In order to start Bitcoin, you need to have a wallet, and a cryptocurrency wallet or a Bitcoin wallet. So, I have wallet, Altug has wallet, So, I mean, as a scenario, let's try to figure out, I mean, how I transfer 1 Bitcoin to Altug's wallet. I have wallet, Altug has wallet. We can start, no, we cannot demonstrate. I, as Ismail, to the all Bitcoin community, right now it's more than 15,000 nodes that connected to each other and keeping the records of Bitcoin from the day one, from the first Bitcoin transaction till now. I'm shouting as, hey, 15,000 nodes, I want to send 1 Bitcoin to Altug, okay? But these nodes doesn't know or don't know my name and Altug's name. There are just codes. And without our information or without my sounding or without my publicizing, no one knows that this string or this crypto belongs to me. So that, hey, I want to send this number 1 Bitcoin, I say. It created a block, a transaction record for me to transfer that. And it informs the whole 15,000 servers or nodes that, hey, this number would like to send 1 Bitcoin to that guy or that string. They inform about that, and what they need is to check my public number, Altug's public number, the quantity to be transferred, and give a check to that. And 3 of them in Bitcoin, after the approval of 3 of them, it was registered to the system as in the 4th step and added to the last record. And this record additions are called as chain and the blockchain. Okay? And then after adding the blockchain, it allows Altug to use that coins. And it was an irreversible operation. And since it was updated, momentarily updated by 15,000 servers, it was decentralized. I mean, unlike the banks with 1, 2, or 4 centers to store the data, it was fully distributed 15,000 people or nodes that most of them doesn't know each other. So it's an online refresh, and then it was removed my account and transferred to Altug's account, and I was not allowed to use this 1 Bitcoin, whereas Altug is allowed to use that. So, and the whole chain is on the internet thanks to this 15,000 nodes online public ledger, let's say. So this is not only the Bitcoin's way of working, but most of the cryptocurrencies in basics, the way of working. So I mean, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, but what is its relations with the classical banking systems, and what is the evolution of the currencies in the online world? Before the internet, actually, the banking system are always, starting from the invention of the computer, let's say, banking industry are in the search of inventing an online money, not only online, digital money. It started with calling as e-money, and with the invention of internet, it turned as the digital money, which has also digital wallets. We can consider Bitcoin and the other currencies under the umbrella of digital money. But in order to have differentiation between classical banking system and the cryptocurrency market, there are some differences, there are some basics to be touched. In the system, digital money or the banking system's money is centralized, whereas cryptocurrency is decentralized or without having a third party peer-to-peer. In the transaction manner, the digital money's transactions are secretly kept and private to the bank or specific to the bank, whereas cryptocurrency, it's public and public standards. User is known by the bank with the rules of the banking systems, know your customer, but in the cryptocurrency it's anonymous, and in the security it's digitally secured or it's digitally crypted, whereas it's encrypted by a SHA 256, a higher level encryption mechanism in the cryptocurrencies. So in order to define cryptocurrencies, apart from digital money, they are decentralized peer-to-peer systems which has public transactions with anonymous or between anonymous users with encrypted security. Okay? So this basics takes us to another concept, that these four basics has the technological infrastructure called as blockchain. Okay? So blockchain means a decentralized system with a public ledger with anonymous users and encrypted security. Of course, it changes it minorly changes from some use of the blockchain, but it's the main basics of the blockchain. So how it is done is, unlike the institutions, not only the financial but also public and private companies, institution, clearinghouse or centralized systems, the decentralization and the use of public ledger system or public transaction is as shown in the visual. I mean, it's all distributed to the authorized nodes or the branches. And also, the users are anonymized with the public and private keys, but the transactions are open to the whole society. So it's crypted but anonymous. It's an antagonistic thing, but it's the blockchain and the digital transformation. So we can define cryptocurrency as a finance protocol, but beyond that, we can define blockchain as a trust protocol that can disrupt the trusted parties, such as notaries and the banks. So that takes us to an industry set apart from finance to many industries, like, for example, I don't want to touch all them, but for example, public charity. For a public charity system, naturally you need a public ledger with the anonymous users. Okay, the blockchain is naturally defined for the public charity, for copyright systems. You create a block as a music composition, as a filmmaker, as a composer, as an artist. You just define the block. Just print or display a timestamp, and the ones coming after you, if it's similarized, then it means that it's a violation on the block and it's not registered to a block. So it protects your copyrights. Okay, it protects your content, everything. For energy grids, for utilities, to tokenize it, and else for escrow systems, like banks or like notaries, are all under the scope of blockchain, apart from cryptocurrencies. Okay? But not the finance industry. Because for the finance industry, the main disruption is not on the blockchain, but on the business model of cryptocurrencies. Not the technology, but the business model as described in the digital transformation in the previous session. So it's also a way of crowdfunding, independent of time and place. I'm in Turkey, I can be crowdfunded by the Norwegian people, by the Asian people and elsewhere. So here are some application areas. For example, Ethereum, the second biggest cryptocurrency, is mainly in the theme of a smart contract. The escrow and the real estates for smart properties. For example, music distribution. There is a coin called as music coin that keeps music copyright laws. Secure digital voting, I'm not very sure about that. Health records. There is a startup called as My Health in Real Life, myhealthirl.com. If you check their website, you see that instead of financial wallets, they create health wallets that you can keep your health information collected from different health institutions and show your private health information, whatever or whichever you want, which institution, at what part. Okay, so that, I mean, it's not a financial wallet, but a health wallet and a health information, private information wallet. So, I mean, there are many application areas, but let me touch to the Ethereum and the way it's working. Ethereum can be called as the coin of contracts. Okay, it's, in my opinion, it's not a currency, but beyond the currency, it's a coin of contracts. For example, it's not. For example, Satoshi Nakamoto is an anonymous nick, but Ethereum's founder is real and physical. Vitalik Buterin. It's a Ukrainian originated Canadian citizen. So it differs some, let's say, technical aspects, but the block or the mining times and the scalability is mainly different. But the usage, in usage column, you can see that it's a cryptocurrency where Ethereum is not only a cryptocurrency, but also a smart contract algorithm. What is smart contract? The smart contract is the 21st century adaptation of a written or paper contract. And the coded version of the contract. You write the text and you convert it in a piece of code, and you digitalize it, and apart from the paper contract, this is a smart entity that manages your contract and that referees between the parties of the contract. Okay? So, in that sense, in the traditional paper contract, there are middlemen, notary, bank, that escrows or that referees your contract, but in there, the algorithm itself controls and manages the contract throughout the period. So, all promises and conditions in the contract are managed and run by the blockchain-based or Ethereum-based algorithmic protocol turned into a smart code. Let's take an example. I mean, this is a car purchasing agreement that in the traditional contract, you verify the deal between people and you sign it, and you select a trusted party or parties, third parties, to run the contract. Notary, third people, referee, eyewitness, and else people, banks for the financial transfers. But if Alice wants to buy a car from mic, let's say, and if he wants to make it with smart contract, technically, let's say, for now it's converted into a code, and between the wallets of Alice and Mike, it observes the transfer of the money first, and then as soon as Mike transfers the money to or Alice transfers the money to Mike's wallet, then it allows Alice to use the key of the car, or opens the garage door automatically. It's right now there are some technical and legal restrictions, but it's the vision right now to be adopted in the IoT era and removal of notary. Estonia, I think, has some studies to eliminate the notary, or to transform notaries to use blockchain and keep the records of the notary things. And especially, I think most of you have heard that Estonia announced an S-coin, but Draghi, the Central Bank of Europe president, rejected it, whether Estonians would like to stay in EU or not, EU monetary policy or not. Then Estonia government decided to limit it with their e-residence citizens. Right now they announced an e-residence program, and more than 90,000 people was registered and get IDs for that. So that right now they limited it with the Estonian e-residents or e-citizens, but I think it will be spreaded. And also in Japan and South Korea there are some governmental studies to change the notaries, or to eliminate the middleman's roles and to load them into smart contracts. Well, going back or coming back to finance industry, there is a very, let's say, popular phrase in that moment among the banking societies. Oh, we don't focus on the blockchain, but instead we would like to use the technology. What is that? It's blockchain. So let's simply analyze whether blockchain helps banking industry to disrupt or not. For example, can they decentralize their system and allow peers to transfer the monies? It's not the nature and the founding principles of the bank, so that they cannot do it. They cannot decentralize their existence. Can they keep a public ledger? I don't think so. Can they anonymize the users? Maybe, but most what remains is the encryption. So, in that perspective, I think blockchain is not a solution for banking industry. Technology itself not a solution, but beyond that, maybe cryptocurrency mindset can help them. The digital transformation of finance is not only a technology thing, but also the business model thing and the culture thing that should be based on initial offering and the tokenization. So, like the bonus or reward coins, they can tokenize and they can combine it with the stock exchange share thing and adopt a new cryptocurrency model for the banks and financial industries. Well, let me briefly talk about the initial coin. As I said, it's a good way of crowdfunding, getting conducted not only as in the classical manner, going to some investors or angels, but also utilize or benefit from the crowd, which you don't know. So it can be pre-selling coins, tokens, and investors. I think Altug will mention about the ICO aspects of the cryptet. But in basics, from initial public offering in the classical financial world to ICO, initial coin offering in the crypto world, has some basic differences. For example, as a digital entrepreneur, you have to go to an investor, you have to prepare a business plan and present it with a personal intro or company intro and elevator pitch with some small or short presentations, and you have to allocate an institution or VC for that with a very great effort. Right now, it's just a white paper utilizing the social media or new media, going to everyone, crowding or sourcing by the huge crowds. It's called as ICO. Of course, it has pros and cons. I will touch them in the end of the session. But right now, at least until now, it's a working method for the digital entrepreneurships. Altug showed it, and that's why I just make you to take a glance to those history in the last year or in last 3 years. For example, as a bottleneck or as a con, take care of the Tezos. In the left-hand side, they collected more than 200 million, and because of the conflict between the founders of the company, right now they are on hold, and they collected the money. Their company is in Switzerland, but the investors, the crowdsourcers, are not sure where to go, what to do. They invested, but there is no further step. So I don't know whether they wasted their investment or not. It's on hold right now. That's why, I mean, it's not only a, let's say, exciting or let's say sexy thing, but also a thing to be, the cons should be considered. Cryptocurrency as a business model are started to focused by the also the financial institution giants like the Visa and MasterCards. Now they joined their forces to tokenize the digital payments, so that cryptocurrency business model, not only technology but also business model, will soon be used by the financial giants. So apart from that, let me in the end try to show you, exemplify you some cryptocurrency examples. For example, blockchain is a disruptor or is a disrupting candidate for Booking.com. They released a token called as LOC, and they promised that it's a tourism token that wants or requests the accommodation or hotels, the accommodation places or hotels or the let's say Airbnb members to be a member of that by purchasing the tokens. And I mean, there is no owner, it's a peer-to-peer thing, and all token owners are the shareholders of this, or will become the shareholders of that. And if they start to use LOC, the consumers or the visitors or tourists has 20% cheaper than Booking.com's rates, even the Booking.com's rates. So, I mean, as the LOC goes up in the market, then the place owners or the hotels will benefit, will have extra benefits on that. Not only the youngsters or the new generation, but also the old comers are onto to develop some new models. For example, Kodak, I think it was yesterday, but it was postponed because of the know your customer principles of the United States regulations, I think. Now they launched the Kodak coin that helps photographers, amateur or professional photographers, to get their copyrights, their violations, thanks to Kodak's copyright fetcher or crawler on the web. And Kodak requests the photographers to be a member of Kodak coin, to register their photographs or to license their photographs on their blockchain, on their Kodak coin ledger. And on behalf of them, Kodak crawls the internet and fetches, and when they fetch a violation, they demand money with all the legal aspects. And if they get the money, they share it with the license owners. So that it's a very simple corporate coin that was developed by Kodak. So that it's a very good example. But not only the corporate institutions, the youngsters, but also governments start to use cryptocurrencies. And one of the very powerful candidates is Russia. Thanks to the, or not thanks to, because of the US sanctions with all the banking and the other system, Russia tries to Russia plans to bypass it with using with developing a crypto ruble, and they burn some portion of their banknote ruble, and instead they circulate this ruble, and now they start to use it among the exchange of some goods and services with the neighbor countries, like Turkey, for example. Last week, their crypto ruble is not in the market right now, not launched, but their first signs are last week is indicated by a freight payment by Bitcoin between Russia and Turkey. So that if they attempt to do that with the BRIC countries, with Kazakhstan, KZ coin, with Azerbaijan coin, crypto coin and else, they plan to bypass US sanctions and banking system with using cryptocurrencies. So that this is an extremely dangerous movement that will lead to a third world war, because I mean it's the banking system, and if United States pushes Russia, then they will show their teeth by using their cryptocurrency weapon. So that, I mean, I don't know where it goes. Venezuela launches their petro, but I don't know I mean what it will go because of the US sanctions again. Estonia Estcoin, but it's limited, so that there are many countries working on that. Also China is working on that. Japan, South Korea and else. So I mean, in my opinion, I'm scaring a bit about it will go to a let's say geographical camp thing between Asia Pacific and the Western world, kind of, if China follows, especially if China follows Russia in that sense. So that, I mean, we have to consider the government coins development in that sense. But coming back to our ecosystem, it's not only the cryptocurrency developers, but also there is an ecosystem consisting of miners, consisting of exchanges, wallets, developers and providers, payment processors, and they have ATMs. You know, right now in the world there are more than 2,000 ATMs, and 75% of it were activated in last year. So that in Western world, wherever you go, you can easily convert your Bitcoin to the local coins, local currencies. So that, I mean, it naturally bypassed all government regulations, the government money limitations to go to take abroad kind of thing. So I mean, it was a really disruptor, not only the financial system, but also governmental systems. Towards the final slides, I mean, while we are discussing the blockchain-based systems, the youngsters are developing the next generation systems that also disrupt blockchain. In my opinion, it was, I mean, centralized systems that right now the current banking system and fintech is can be accepted as centralized systems. There is one master node, spared by a few more, but there is one master node that runs the whole flow. But right now in blockchain systems, it's not only a god master node, but also some elites like the miners, like the producers. Centralized system and the banking system looks like a monarchy, but blockchain-based systems is not a democracy. It's an oligarchy of miners and producers and payment processors and else. But the real democracy has been developing by the newcomers. For example, there are new coins called as IOTA, called as Ryblocks and Ballbyte, which gives the power fully to the users, like the new digital democracy. So that in the blockchain, you mine or you produce the coin, but in the next generation system, it was already mined or pre-mined and then totally released to the market, or users equally generate them or equally keep the ledger by themselves. For example, in IOTA coin, in order to send or transact a money, for example, for me to Altug, I have to approve 2 transactions. In the beginning, simply approve, and then allow to send the coin. So that, I mean, thanks to these systems, and also the system rewards the users by themselves. But I don't know where it goes. Right now, there are the first or the initial efforts, but it goes to such a evolution. It's the Tangle system that IOTA named, Ledger of Things, and it's an IoT coin that challenges to be a $1 trillion business or nothing. I mean, I got it from their founder. It's a $1 trillion business or nothing, he says. So it's the final thing that, okay, it's a very pink scheme that I showed you. It's a very pink presentation, very optimistic presentation, but there is the dark side of it. What about the regulations? What about the black market? What about the scam icons? What about the Ponzi scheme and presenting themselves as Bitcoin-like coins? What about the currency for the web market, becoming a currency for the web market? Like the coins like Monero, Zcash are sounding dark web market to use. What about the terrorist movements? ISIS was mainly or has been mainly using the social media as well as the Bitcoin, for example. How we avoid such conditions and movements? And finally, the governmental financial control on economies has been weakening by the cryptocurrencies. The seigniorage revenues, the tax revenues, the inflation, the way governments use inflation has been disrupted, has been corrupted by the cryptocurrency system. So that it needs to be analyzed, and the cryptocurrency business model and technological infrastructure must be well understood by the governments, and the regulations must be adopted accordingly. Only banning, I ban everything, doesn't work in the 21st century. So that the lemonade sales are started even by the very youngsters, and there is still a cloud tech If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer it. Thank you.
I have one question. Thank you for interesting lecture. You mentioned some of the problems that governments like that are facing. What do you think will happen? Will they manage that in a world scale base to prevent the difficulties?
Thank you for the questions. It's a very good question, actually. I have a scenario for that, actually. If governments start to use crypto governmental coins, governmental cryptocurrencies, what they would like to do or what they need to do next is to announce the corporate companies, the youngsters, the digital entrepreneurs, to launch and release their coins. Why? Thanks to the usage of their ledgers and thanks to the transition, automatic transition between the ledgers, blockchain ledgers, if I'm a government, okay, and there are more corporate coins like Kodak, like Volvo coin, like Subaru coin, like ABB coin, like Ericsson coin, or like some, how shall I say, many coins, let's say, I announce a regulation that takes, for example, 1 Norwegian krone out of each 10,000 Norwegian krona crypto corona transfer, okay, in any transfer, okay, and this takes, I mean, for example, I'm in a shop, I shopped, let's say 3,000 Norwegian krona and paid the or 30,000 Norwegian krona, and government automatically takes from this corporate transfer 3 Norwegian krona and connected to Norwegian krona, crypto corona ledger into corporate ledger, okay? And then immediately go to its digital wallet, which means it's cash. I mean, it's escrow, let's say, wherever it is. It's treasury, let's say. So it means that, I mean, I shopped, I used the crypto coin, corporate coin, I converted it as a tax to our national cryptocurrency, and it automatically goes to treasury. Okay? In that sense, there is no need to issue a yearly coin, yearly tax announcements, some declarations and else. Okay? It's just a stoppage. It's just a deduction that governments. In that sense, for example, I can share it with you. Bank of England had such a study, has such an article on that, and they found out that with an analysis, if they release the pound, 30% of the pound into cryptocurrency, the national GDP rose around 6%. But they objected that, they concerned that it's a very good point, but we should check that what will happen to the banking industry and what will be our losses if the citizen has a close relation, has a direct relation with the government and the central banks. Okay, because it's a direct wallet relation between the government and the citizen, and banks. The bank's frequency and speed cannot place in such a automatic transfer. So that where you place the banks here in such a scenario, so that I think it's a before the medieval age, I think we will live a digital medieval age with the current happenings right now. But then comes the Renaissance, and thanks to artificial intelligence, Industry 4.0, AI kind of things, all blue colors and most of the white colors will appear on the screen, so that only the artists and the creative people will stand on the scene, so that we will live a digital renaissance, in my opinion, on that. But it will not happen before the medieval age.
I think I need to insist that we take a break, 5 minutes before we let Altug conclude this morning's session.
Okay.
So we start again 5 minutes past. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Then we are ready to roll again with Altug Ozturk.
Yes.
Who is my student hero. He is an enthusiastic master student at HiMolde University College, but he's also an entrepreneur and has got his own startup. Exactly how I want students to be. So welcome, Altug. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Once again, it's cryptid, and yeah, I'm actually a master student and doing sport final semester of my sports management degree. I started this Bitcoin journey in my dorm room in Molde, in a 20 square meter, in the dark winter of Norway. You know, only had a laptop, looking into what can I do with my time, and Bitcoin came up in front of me. Bought some Bitcoins within a month, increased my Bitcoin value, and I was thinking, oh my god, this is amazing, because I'm a student, I had no income, can't find a job, I don't speak Norwegian, and living cost is really, really high, so what can I do to really make money? And started coaching, gives me 1,000 NOK a month. That pays only for one week of groceries, you know. And started to coach actually in the university, some staff and professors doing boot camps, and then I started doing trading. In the beginning I was very lucky, Bitcoin was going really high really quickly, so I made a lot of money from there, and then I said, okay, I need to make more money, because it's just gives me a lot of pleasure and freedom basically. And we were thinking of creating an exchange, let's be the richest people in the world. All that stuff, but the thing is, once this project started, it was called CryptoX, and it was going to be an exchange. But then over time, we had people got involved with the project, and all of a sudden, it has become cryptid with maybe more than 20 people's input over the last 8 months, and it has become an education platform instead of cryptocurrency exchange, and it has changed from being a fully profitable business into something that everybody can benefit from. So everybody can win instead of just me and just my friends. So this Peter Drucker's quote is like one of my favorites. I put it everywhere basically. So this is a little bit of an introduction to cryptid.
Increasing interest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies has gained attention of the mass population lately. However, many people around the world are still unaware of its potential, having little knowledge of what it can become. Meet Crypted, the ultimate crypto education platform, reading the best educators for all your crypto needs. Crypted Signature, time-stamping service for diplomas, simulator exchange for risk-free trading, and top-quality courses by top-quality experts. Crypted will be a platform where crypto experts can offer their knowledge to the public, while the knowledge seekers get the best possible information out there from specially selected experts. And how does it work? Users can sign up to Crypted for free. In order to access educational content, it will be necessary to purchase KED tokens and park them on the Crypted platform. This will pave the way for the world of experts. The longer users hodl sked, the more benefits they will receive. The ultimate hodl coin.
Yes, so administration. So what happens is, the idea is to fix the problems of education at this time. So we are striving to create an ecosystem supporting cryptocurrency and blockchain education through e-learning and physical academies to educate the world. We want to, as a team, make sure that our vision is followed by our actions, and it's like I said, it was an exchange, and all of a sudden it became a social responsibility project. So we realized we need to create awareness in the world to make sure everybody gets free education, everybody is able to access education, and understand what cryptocurrency is, understand what blockchain is, and adapt to the fourth industrial revolution much quicker and much easier. So I mentioned the problems briefly in the teaser. So the lack of engagement and motivation is one of the biggest issues. In 2009, a student poll showed that 50% of the students have said they're not engaged, they're actively disengaged. So it has been an issue for a lot of the student dropouts, especially in the United States. This is mostly, data is from the United States, because this is where most of the problem is showing with research. And increasing cost, at the moment in the United States, $1.2 trillion is worth of student debt. So it's increasing every single day. My girlfriend here, she has to go to a private school, online private school. She has to pay around 40,000 NOK per semester or a year to be able to look after her child and be able to get education online. And she doesn't even go to school, go to a physical place where she can interact with people and pays 40,000 NOK for that. And she's still missing the sense of community. So she has nobody to ask questions. There is a community on the portal. She can ask questions, but she can't really interact with them. She literally feels disengaged. And I have seen this with a lot of the others out there. I had taken an online course before in 10th grade. It was a course called planning, and I failed. There was nobody to talk to. There was no clear instructions, you know, and it was very difficult to understand what was going on. So, again, lack of motivation. This is something that needs to be solved. Even in Norway right now, in the classrooms, you see students always looking like this, not getting involved at all. That's because they don't have to. They just have to be there, get the assignments, go home, do their assignments, pass the exam, and they're free to go. They don't need to be engaged. They don't need to talk to the teacher unless they really want to learn. Again, if you can see, this yellow dot is the 4-year tuition fees in USA, and I can't see what's the number there. Since 1998, it has increased. I mean, I couldn't even take the 100% part. It's over 110%. It's so high that it doesn't even fit in our screen. The increasing cost is just incredible. I don't understand how. And the sense of community needs to be there to be able to create this online experience. This online experience to be meaningful for people and rewarding. So what are we trying to solve with Cryptid? So there's 100 people out there. I have a Twitter account with 30,000 people following. Whenever I write something, people are asking questions all the time. And they want to learn. I have a group of 25 people who are willing to get 6-week course from me for a small fee. And they want to learn. They want to be engaged. And with Cryptid, I'm doing this experiment with this group so that I can implement it into the Cryptid platform. So we want to create private groups as well. So we have an awareness on social media, traditional media. You see on TV, Bitcoin has crashed, cryptocurrencies have increased. And on Twitter, on YouTube, there's educators telling people what they can learn, how they can learn. But once I have 30,000, 100,000 followers that wants to learn, how many of them can I actually reach out to? So it needs to be more intimate. And with Cryptid, we are creating a system where people can communicate with experts. They can create a community. And there is rewards for engagement. So with Cryptid token, you can actually earn rewards. And it was mentioned on the video that you need to park your tokens on the platform to be able to reach the content for free. So what happens there is you buy on an exchange or on our website, let's say 1,000 Cryptid cat tokens. You literally park them, deposit them on the platform, and you're able to reach every content for free. Once you've had enough of it, once you don't want to learn anymore, you take out your tokens, you can sell them on exchanges or somebody that you think needs the tokens to go and learn something new. And the only time you pay is when you want to connect with the expert, it's a small fee. And once you want to encrypt your certificate or diploma onto the blockchain, or once you want to use the demonstration exchange. And you don't need to pay to use the exchange, only to make a transaction. It's like a commission that will go to a foundation of Cryptid to build academies in the future. Like I said, motivation for educators and learners to communicate. So once I have the tokens parked on the platform, I can earn rewards by engaging, asking questions, reaching out to educators, and educators can earn rewards for distributing their courses, promoting the company, and also answering questions. So this will create higher engagement levels, motivation increase, quality learning experience, a sense of community, and accessible content for anyone, anywhere in the world. With cryptocurrencies, like Ismail has mentioned, you don't need a bank account. You only need internet and a cell phone, a smartphone, to be able to reach, send money, and connect to people. So, crypto platform, these are our functions. We have a crypto platform where we can have webinars, private groups, and connection with the experts and the courses. Crypto signature, this is what I like a lot about crypto actually. I see a feature of companies going on crypto platform and searching for fraud-proof diplomas where, let's say, I graduated from HiMolde University College and I get my diploma encrypted on the crypto platform, and then I encrypted. So I just tell them, you can search on a crypto platform if I am legit or not. Because I can write on LinkedIn that I graduated from Harvard in 2002, and nobody can check if it's true or not, unless they know somebody that was in that age group or something like this. So crypto platform will try to solve this problem as well. So fraud-free time-stamping of diplomas with a single transaction fee again. So you need to use the crypto token to get encrypted. And an exchange simulator, this is one thing that I wanted most, because all of my followers on Twitter and YouTube, they want to invest in tokens that they have no idea about, and they want to buy and sell without any knowledge. I was exactly the same. I was putting money into coins that were going up. I'm like, oh, yeah, I can maybe benefit from this. It would go up for the next 2 minutes, and then bang, 100% gone. So to make 100% loss back, you need to make 200% profit. You know, so it's very difficult to survive in an environment. So if you can provide an exchange simulator where people can trade risk-free without losing any money, so they will try, probably, that's the vision, come to Cryptid, try to do some exchange moves on our platform for a small transaction fee, very tiny transaction fee, and not lose any money, and get into the market with great knowledge, and while they're learning from the other educators. That's basically our goal. And this is a market snapshot of similar projects to ours. BitDegree came, I think, last month, and they're valued at $61 million today. And very similar project. I was shocked when I saw BitDegree. I was thinking, oh, is somebody listening to my phone calls? Is somebody really? I was all paranoid, but I mean, people can't think of the same thing, obviously. But we have a little bit of differences, competitive advantage to BitDegree. What they do is they provide a platform, and they allow people to earn rewards while learning. Also, the educators can earn rewards while teaching. Very similar, except without the exchange simulator and the encrypted signature. Live Edu. Their ICO has just finished. They collected $10 million in last week, or the month before. So, very similar project. They offer live sessions of classes and courses. Udemy, they have 20 million students online, and limited communication with experts, and they only sell courses prepared by people, like peer-to-peer marketplace sort of. So if I prepare a cryptocurrency course, I can sell it on Udemy, let's say $120, $150. But there's no communication, so it's just I buy it, somebody buys it, and they watch the videos and the content, that's it. And they have 20 million users so far. Oh, and before I forget, it's a $46 billion online learning market out there right now. Our objectives, I mentioned, is build the ultimate crypto education platform for everyone. This is just the beginning though. It's a baby step that we're trying to take. And tokenize education to make sure that we reward people, we motivate people. Recruit educators. We are in talks of a lot of experts. Well, we can't really call everybody expert right now because I mentioned this in my other presentation. You need a lot of knowledge and a lot of years of work to become an expert. It's about 10,000 hours I mentioned from, I think it was Outliers book. You need a lot of time to be considered an expert. But we have good people, good instructors, good teachers that can educate people on this matters. And we want to partner up with 6 universities, and we are in talks with a few universities right now. We want to build the first crypto academy. That's my goal of 2020. Hopefully, with the commissions and with the tokenization system we create, I want to have academies, physical academies, where we teach people how to code, how to use blockchain, what is a cryptocurrency, and all this stuff for no fee at all. And reach out to less resourceful communities around the world. This is something that can be done through online system. So, like I said, you only need a cell phone, an internet connection to receive education from crypto platform in the future, hopefully. Our strategy is tokenization, obviously. It's a revenue stream for crypto platform, a reward system for value proposition for people to understand what they can get from it. We need key partners, so universities, startup accelerators, and crypto experts. Key resources, we have a quality team that we built so far. Hopefully will be much stronger soon. We have agreed with a partnership to build the platform for us. So it will be tokenized through INOX soon. And a good marketing strategy and a social media activity, because cryptocurrency heart is beating on Twitter and YouTube right now. Our competitive advantages is university on blockchain, that's what we call cryptid. All crypto and blockchain experts under one roof, because like I said, they're all scattered. You see box mining on YouTube, I don't know, Korean Jew on Twitter. These are all the nicknames. You have Altug Ozturk, you have Ismail, Hakki, Polat, and all these people on Twitter trying to teach people going to places and collect them in under one roof. So from theory to practice by communication and simulator exchange and crypto signature, private group lessons for intimate learning, and a niche market. So this is our competitive advantages. Why CAT token? I mean, it will provide users with a reward program. So again, gives us motivation for the educator and for the learner. Allow users to increase their CAT value just by holding CAT tokens. So the idea in cryptocurrency is it's all about supply and demand. It's simple as that. And the more you keep, the more the coins are not on sale, the more value it has. So the scarcity part of it. If people want to learn, get content for free, they will need to hold crypto tokens in order to reach the content. So it creates the ultimate hodl. We call this in crypto jargon hodl instead of hold. It was a funny mistake by someone on the internet, so it stayed like that, hodl. So we call this an ultimate hodl coin, sorry. And it will motivate educators, it will motivate users, and provide a utility token basically. And it will be built on Ethereum smart contract system. So the core value, what does CAD solve? So what if we just accepted Bitcoin or Ethereum? Why do we have to create our own currency? So motivation issue in dropout rates and high cost of educational content is one reason that we need to create CAD token, because Bitcoin is highly volatile, and cryptid provides a token which increases value over time by people holding it to receive free education and exclusive benefits. So to put Bitcoin on our platform and park it there would not be very beneficial for anybody, because Bitcoin is highly volatile and nobody knows what's going to happen in the next few years. But CAD token, we believe, if you manage people to hold CAD token to reach the educational content, it will increase value over time. So it's a win-win for us and for the learners and educators. Why does it have value? Users will need to purchase CAD tokens and park them onto the platform. That's basically why. And why would the value increase? As I mentioned, they will need to hold the tokens. And benefits for educational institutions. So provide encrypted certification, introduction of blockchain-based undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs, prosumption, so production and consumption of courses, syllabi, curriculum, independent of time and place. And imagine a specialized university via a cryptid platform where students can register through blockchain. Student ID verification can be done on the blockchain. Course verification on the blockchain. Learning on the blockchain. Add and drop courses on the blockchain, and tokenization, so rewarding system for everyone. Basically, university on the blockchain. So this is our roadmap. Q1 of 2017 is when I bought the Bitcoins in 2016, end of 2016. Q1 of 2017 was how to actually make money off these ICOs because they were popping up. And it changed completely. It's not about making money. We don't even know if it's a good way. We need to make sure this education is getting out there. It's not about profit anymore. It's about, it's a life purpose sort of for somebody. So planning and creation of vision and getting people's ideas took us all the way to 2020 right now. I mean, on the roadmap, 2020, where we want to create free education platforms. It's nothing about those companies where they just want to make money and get lost. It's not about that. It's about everybody. It's about, you know, the Peter Drucker quote. It's not about just breathing. There's more to that. So in 2018, so Q2, we want to be able to enable producers to register and set up a profile. So if we manage to find the proper funding, the partnerships and the team that we want to build, hopefully in Q2 we will be ready to launch our first alpha version. This is our crypto team. We have Dimitri from HiMolde University College actually. He's a student here. And Ismail Polat as mentor, and we have Steiner here as in the Cryptid Council as well. We have really good Cryptid Council members where they give us a lot of insight on how we can improve and be better for the future. So we have a Korean, a German, Turkish, Norwegian, Belarusian, Australian, French, Norwegian. I mean, it's a very widely distributed team and Cryptid Council members trying to achieve something open source, decentralized, and to make it a success, basically. That's it. This is Cryptid Platform. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer. If not, yeah.
Where can I read your white paper?
It's currently being changed every day almost, but it will be published hopefully within the next couple of weeks. We are around at 90% of completing it. We don't want to publish anything before it's ready. And we have currently a website, kryptid.org, where you can read about our simple functions and what we want to achieve. But the white paper will be available within a couple of weeks.
Another question.
Yes, sure.
Okay, so you're planning for limited circulation, limited supply of tokens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing you're planning an ICO, maybe?
Yeah.
In a while.
Mm-hmm.
But what you said about making education free and available for everyone, aren't you building... Okay, so if you have this token that rises in value as you hold it, aren't you building an entry barrier for those who come late to the party?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a thought that we're working on right now. So how can we manage that entry barrier to be low? So idea is creating a strategy where we can distribute the tokens fairly. So there are strategies to do bounties. So if people accomplish certain tasks, they can receive tokens for free. And we want to do airdrops where people again receive tokens for free. And we want to eliminate this entry barrier by distributing tokens actually for free. So we might have an ICO Not for sure yet. We might, because that depends on the situation where if we can't find funding, proper funding to pay the developers and pay the marketing campaign and to be well known, and the low companies, because it all costs so much money, you know. We are basically on a tiny budget, not even a budget value. So we want to distribute the tokens fairly, and to eliminate this entry barrier, again, there will be tasks and achievements to unlock for people and receive the tokens for free.
Can you say a little bit more about how you plan to create the content?
Okay, we won't be creating the content.
Okay.
So it will be educators who we believe have the right qualities. We need to, I mean, it's again still on the thought process where should it be limited amount of people or should it be everyone that can actually give lessons? But we have a requirement list, specification of requirements where we want to have this type of people who can teach. And there will be a point system, like gamification system, where the educators can be pointed, or how do you say, evaluated for their contribution. And peer-to-peer is where it comes. So Alibaba, Uber, Airbnb, all have a peer-to-peer network. So we want to have this as well. People from outside, not us, that wants to teach can create the content for us. And hopefully will. And we'll earn rewards for creating the content. So that's their motivation. Anybody else? Thank you.
Other questions? I say thank you very much. We are going to start again here at 1 o'clock and talk about the future of education.
Okay.
Welcome, and welcome certainly tonight at 6 o'clock down in the cafeteria, where you're going to talk about sustainability and naked wine. Even more tempting, I'm sure. Thank you very much for showing up. I'll see you later. I'm done.